Get your daily news fix. From NewsSourceScrawler's latest edition, 18 April 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more.
Hamas is prepared to release all the remaining hostages in exchange for the cessation of the conflict, according to the group's leader in Gaza. The Wall Street Journal reports that Hamas is facing severe financial difficulties, being so short on funds that it is unable to compensate its fighters. A portrait of a Palestinian boy who tragically lost both arms has been named the World Press Photo of the Year for 2025.
In the ongoing tech conflict, NVIDIA CEO, Jensen Huang, emphasized China's importance as a crucial market during his visit to Beijing, despite the United States imposing restrictions on AI chips. AMD anticipates an $800 million financial impact due to the U.S.'s new licensing requirements for these chips. A committee in the U.S. House of Representatives is investigating whether DeepSeek utilized NVIDIA chips that were subject to restrictions.
Huawei has introduced an enhanced version of its AI-driven smart eyewear, aiming to make a mark in the highly competitive market. Microsoft Research has revealed BitNet B1, a 1-bit language model trained on a vast dataset of 4 trillion tokens. This model is said to deliver performance that rivals top open-weight, full-precision models without the need for GPUs. Meta has reportedly restricted Apple Intelligence on Facebook and its other iOS applications. It is also said that Meta sought financial assistance from Amazon and Microsoft to support the development of Llama. Tencent is providing 28,000 internship opportunities as China faces challenges with youth unemployment. In India, due to the impact of tariffs, IT companies have reduced their hiring targets, leading to a 20% decrease in demand during the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2025. In the United States, leaders in South Dakota are supporting Rassner Media's deal with TikTok and are encouraging the Trump administration to lend its backing.
Trump announces that a minerals agreement with Ukraine will be finalized within the next week. Russia has decided to remove its ban on the Taliban as its relationship with the group continues to strengthen. Marco Rubio has stated that the United States will cease its efforts to broker peace in Ukraine if there is no significant advancement in the coming days. This comes as Axios reports on the situation, noting that Putin is testing Trump's patience by delaying ceasefire discussions. A U.S. judge has ruled that Google possesses unlawful monopolies in the realm of online advertising technology. Elon Musk's Starlink is gaining significant market share in Nigeria as part of its broader expansion efforts across Africa. China is set to enforce stricter regulations on electric vehicle self-driving technology, prohibiting the use of terms such as smart and autonomous in vehicle advertisements.
South Korea's recently introduced visa aimed at addressing the labor shortage is encountering opposition. Japan is experiencing a rapid increase in inflation, with rice prices rising at their highest rate in the past 50 years. Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has engaged in diplomatic discussions with Myanmar's junta leader during a challenging week of international relations. A report indicates that China's container bookings could decrease by as much as 60% due to the impact of U.S. tariffs on trade. Temu has significantly reduced its advertising expenditure in the United States, leading to a sharp decline in its ranking on the App Store following the imposition of Trump's tariffs on China. Furthermore, Fitch predicts that Hong Kong banks will experience the largest increase in bad loans across the Asia-Pacific region as a result of these U.S. tariffs.
AI-created music makes up 18% of the total tracks uploaded to the music streaming platform Deezer. Google employed artificial intelligence to deactivate more than 39 million advertising accounts that were believed to be involved in fraudulent activities. In the United States, there have been discussions about the challenges faced by community colleges as they grapple with the influx of students who are suspected of using automated bots to complete their work. A study reveals that immigrant entrepreneurs are prevalent in major U.S. artificial intelligence companies. In the United States, the Department of Homeland Security is warning Harvard that it may lose its status to host international students if it does not provide disciplinary records. A report indicates that global financial institutions are advancing in achieving gender balance, despite facing opposition to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has stated that while Trump's tariffs are expected to hinder economic growth, they are unlikely to trigger a global recession. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has raised concerns about the impact of tariffs, leading to a decline in stock prices. Trump has criticized Powell for not reducing interest rates. Furthermore, some of Trump's supporters, including Joe Rogan and Dave Portnoy, are now expressing doubts about his tariff strategies. A Pew survey indicates that Americans' negative sentiment towards China is becoming less pronounced.
The use of sunscreen, protective clothing, and seeking refuge in caves likely contributed to the survival of Homo sapiens approximately 41,000 years ago. The Webb Space Telescope has identified the presence of methane and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere of the exoplanet K2-18b. Furthermore, Harvard's RoboBee has developed a stable landing method that could be utilized for pollinating crops. Lab-grown chicken can now be made into nuggets thanks to artificial blood vessels. 3 types of ticks in the U.S. might be responsible for an enigmatic allergy to red meat. A large circular tomb containing individuals with battle wounds has been discovered in Peru.
In the United States, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, is reportedly planning to discontinue its regular food safety inspections, according to sources. Members of the World Health Organization, WHO, have reached an agreement on the first global pandemic treaty. Furthermore, Reuters has announced that the U.S. Consumer Safety Agency intends to cease gathering a significant portion of data following reductions by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC.
The United States has imposed sanctions on the International Bank of Yemen, accusing it of aiding the Houthi rebels. The U.S. claims that a Chinese satellite company is facilitating Houthi assaults on American interests, prompting the imposition of new sanctions on Chinese companies importing Iranian oil. Furthermore, the Trump administration has introduced fees for Chinese ships entering U.S. ports, leading to a decline in bookings and the cancellation of Chinese freight ship arrivals as part of the ongoing trade war. Discord is implementing a process to verify the age of certain users by requiring them to submit identification and facial scans. In the United States, New Jersey has filed a lawsuit against the messaging app Discord, accusing it of endangering young users. TikTok is introducing its own feature called Community Notes. Liz Truss is planning to launch her own social media platform that she claims will be uncensorable.
Vladimir Putin praises Elon Musk as an exceptional trailblazer. SpaceX, associated with Musk, is leading the competition for a $10 billion Golden Dome defense project proposed by Trump, as the Pentagon considers adopting subscription-based technology. Q-Control introduces a quantum technology that is resistant to jamming and boasts an accuracy 50 times greater than that of GPS.
French President Emmanuel Macron has declared the establishment of a collaborative commission to investigate the historical debt that Haiti owes to France regarding its independence. In a related development, Turkey has apprehended 525 individuals in what the minister described as the nation's largest anti-narcotics operation. There are reports suggesting that AI personas might be functioning as undercover police officers, interacting with suspects online through platforms like social media and text messaging. Bernie Sanders reportedly allocated $221,000 for private jet expenses during his Fighting Oligarchy tour. The New York Post notes that Joe Biden is facing challenges in securing speaking engagements, as he is requesting $300,000 per speech. George Clooney expressed the opinion that a Democratic primary should have been held after Biden exited the race.
The Washington Post has published a report indicating that Trump's choice for the U.S. Attorney position in Washington, D.C., has made over 150 appearances on Russian state media. The Russia-associated Pravda network has been referenced on platforms such as Wikipedia, large language models, and X. Furthermore, Ukrainian President Zelensky has stated that Ukraine possesses evidence demonstrating China's provision of weapons to Russia.
Global Payments is set to purchase WorldPay for a sum of $24.25 billion and will also sell off its Issuer Solutions unit. ABB is considering the separation of its robotics division to become a distinct publicly traded entity. OpenAI is in discussions to acquire Windsurf for approximately $3 billion.
Trump and Meloni express optimism about the possibility of a U.S. trade agreement with Europe. Trump mentions that the U.S. and China are engaged in trade discussions and is optimistic that a resolution will be achieved soon. He asserts with absolute certainty that a U.S. trade deal with the EU will be finalized. Newsom declares a lawsuit against Trump's tariffs, highlighting the potential financial losses of billions for California. In another development, Indonesia plans to suggest a $10 billion increase in U.S. energy imports during tariff negotiations.
The Trump administration has paused a $5 billion offshore wind project in New York while it is still under construction. Trump has issued a memo that prevents undocumented immigrants from accessing Social Security benefits. Furthermore, a former Pentagon spokesman, who was linked to an online initiative targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion, has been requested to step down, according to an official statement.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, is set to reduce its oversight of financial firms and decrease its emphasis on fintech, as part of the ongoing downsizing efforts under Trump's administration, which have resulted in nearly 90% of the CFPB's workforce being cut. The Trump administration is seeking a new location for the Housing and Urban Development Department, HUD, and has put the current HUD building up for sale as part of a broader strategy to sell off properties. Furthermore, the U.S. State Department is closing an office dedicated to combating foreign disinformation.
Chrome extensions that have been installed by 6 million users contain concealed tracking code. Wikipedia is providing its data to AI developers to help combat bot scrapers. The hacking group known as Anonymous has announced a significant cyber attack on Russia and has made public 10 terabytes of leaked data.
South Korean content surpasses UK content in terms of global viewership on Netflix. Nickelodeon introduces a new animated series titled Kid Cowboy on YouTube. Paramount Plus broadens its reach in Japan by forming a partnership with the local streaming service Lemino.
In the United States, the expenditure on digital advertising reached a significant amount of $259 billion in the year 2024. In France, the Ligue 1 football league is encountering a financial crisis due to the collapse of negotiations between the clubs and the streaming service DAZN regarding a television broadcasting agreement. The Fire Festival 2 has been postponed, with no new date announced for the event.
Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy's upcoming Star Wars movie has been officially named Star Wars: Starfighter and is scheduled for a theatrical release in May 2027. Glenn Powell will co-write and star in a Judd Apatow comedy centered around a country western star. Furthermore, Star Wars animated series featuring Darth Maul will be available on Disney Plus next year, with Sam Witwer providing the voice for the villain.
A United States citizen is currently being detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, even though a judge has reviewed and verified their birth certificate. Individuals who are immigrants, H-1B visa holders, or green card recipients are required to carry identification documents with them at all times, under threat of imprisonment if they fail to comply. Furthermore, ICE has recently disbursed tens of millions of dollars to Palantir for the purpose of conducting a comprehensive target analysis of known populations.
In the United States, a well-known researcher specializing in ultra-processed foods has departed from the National Institutes of Health, claiming that he faced censorship. A French university has received applications from almost 300 American academics, offering them what is being termed scientific asylum. Additionally, a proposed rule by the Trump administration suggests that the destruction of habitats for endangered species would not be considered harm. China has accused the United States of meddling in its relationships with countries in Latin America. India's trade deficit with China has expanded to an unprecedented $99.2 billion, raising concerns about dumping practices. YouTube has been granted immunity from Australia's social media ban.
Polish president supports efforts to gain access to France's nuclear protection. Australian Prime Minister expresses confidence in Trump, and she during a debate with an election opponent. Ivory Coast's opposition selects Tidjane Thiam as their presidential candidate, with former banker Thiam renouncing his French citizenship to pursue the Ivory Coast presidency.
Trump has reversed regulations designed to reduce arsenic and mercury pollution. Researchers indicate that approximately 15% of the global cropland is contaminated with toxic metals. In response to an increase in bear attacks, Japan has simplified the process for hunters to target bears.
Variety has announced that the Pacific Rim television series, produced by Legendary and written by Eric Heiserer, is set to be developed by Amazon. Wendy's expressed a significant amount of respect for Katy Perry following a controversial post that suggested sending her back to space, although the fast food chain did not issue a formal apology. Former President Trump has appointed Fox News host Mark Levin to serve on the Homeland Security Advisory Council,